Low. Low. Today is a new mouse day. Try this map and see if there is raiders, because how I hear that raiders don't spawn only interchange. Other mobs they are spawning, so let's check out. Gonna get in. Looks like we are getting in. Let's go, Sage. No shots yet. Mozin. To get used to it, to the new mouse. Here the one. Fuck he is. Outside is rain. Nobody's running. I heard some food, but that's it. Headshot master. This guy was confident Chinese hooker. He like runs so quickly that I could like shoot him that fast from that hallway. Bad reactions. Spill a few guns. Definitely I can't play snore line. Let's give that enough. Hate this fire. DS and headphones. Very loud. Try not to die. Oh, let's try not to die. Stream on. Lol. Two of them. Here the one.
Give up! You're pinned!
So I don't know who. Probably player.
EFD's not ours!
It's probably a scam.
Bad guy, over there!
Go slowly to the extra. Fuck, блядь. Where can I go under this shit? Mouse is so uncomfortable. Just was player loss lol.
Дикие еще эти. Их только не хватало.
Fucking gay. Raider flashed me. So uncomfortable to play with this mouse. Yes. How he see me? That bot. But good flash. There was one more player, I think, was that truck. Those two raiders were fighting him. Well, that was fun. Tactical read. Helmet. That's my nades. We can exchange for walks, I think. Hard to see those walks. We need to drink.
It's the sound of the awakening. Feel it now, take it in. Baseline, heavyweight, earthquake, we broken limbs. Feel your teeth chatter when the beat smacks your heavy like a hurricane. It screams at ya. Take a deep breath, here we go again. Deep in the abyss, deep into the unknown. It's the sounds of the black rain coming through your
Because I'm
speakers.
a little bit claustrophobic. But it's fun.
It's the sounds of the awakening. Better get your mind right.
You need to get used to this mouse. It's a little bit smaller.
sun don't rise tomorrow, and the rain don't stop pouring down. Always know in your heart. I can sense confusion in the air as they stop and they stare. Feel the ground start to tremble, feel the fear in the air. It's the element of surprise. Can you feel it in your bones? Keep your eyes open wide. As we take it's the sound of the awakening. Feel it now, taking it. Baseline heavyweight, earthquake and broken limbs. Feeding each other when the beat smash your head in like a hurricane. Screams at us. Take a deep breath, here we go again. Deep into the abyss, deep into the unknown. It's the sound of the black rain coming through your speakers. High frequencies, push straight when you're trading. Resistance is you talk your own, try to fight.
Oh, this is the prick. I didn't see them only here. They basically seated there. And waited. How always.
The sounds of the awakening.
Maybe I need to
Get your mind
switch
right,
back.
right, right,
Almost.
right, 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 right.
Helmet. Let's buy this one. Go and find them as fast as possible. Guys killed me. Backpack. We need some backpack. Basically, I played stupid. Interesting, they like fight, or maybe they looted something. But anyways, they like didn't move at all. Like, well, This is my raid, gonna kill everybody. Where is that dude? Interesting. Could not kill him. Toyota Super Z. What the fuck? Killed two. Maybe we trade? Maybe we trade. I think there was huge teasing. Because the second one was weird. Let's put another gear on. And this mouse is good, but yeah, my hand is not used to it. Not at all. Let's make maybe some money. Guess we are out of it. One mag. We need some needs.
what's to come. Forget all that's said and done. Let it fade away. Cause all I need is here and now. And nothing else can break this down. There's no need to turn around.
Let's make a little bit money.
And then continue a fight. It's kind of a weird fight. That one server was like everything mostly was okay, but this one is like you shoot, he's not dropping. I killed one behind some object. Yeah, customs are good now. It's happening some fights there. How much recall? I found 57. That's very big recoil. And I hear weapon. So quiet in interchange. Just testing how it shoots in zoom. But it has 152 recoil. Scope. So dead interchange. Or there's gonna be one who is gonna sit in the corner. What the? No shots even fired. Yeah. Shit. Dropped a wrong nade. Yay! Very nice.
I don't know why, I don't know why. This is never enough. Baby, I love you too much. I don't know why, I don't know why. This is never enough. Baby, I love you too much.
set this differently. This one. So we actually need a gas block too. Let's buy EKM, but it's so expensive. By RK2. Just a little bit better. Customs interchange routes. Shoreline. Go customs. Try again. Let's try again.
Whole day, you know. I lost 2 fair fights today, 2 fucking fair fights where I would say, okay, I got fucked, you know, I got shit on. The rest have been, you know. But hey, listen, it's only a game. You have to be mad, you know. It's only a game. Don't be mad. Got my old CPU back. Ooh.
Turn this off. Is there somebody gonna run? Let's go check what's happening there. Put a bit higher, I needed to show. Saw me? What? Is there somebody here? He has wall. Looks like. I think he killed one. How the fuck that nade works? Oh, those nades, I don't know. I throw nades like nobody blows up. Like he throws nades, I blow every time. Like, what the hell? He was all time proning there. What? Wow. This pussy guy. Pussy, please. I don't know how I blow up on those nades. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Let's make 1 AK. See, nobody is selling that grip. Where is that shit? Here you are. What we need? Backpack for sure. This one. This one. And this one. Where is that mag? Here you are. Okie dokie. Too much zeros. This kind of was very... What? What the fuck, that price increased? Weird. Okay. Back. Watch maybe some videos while I'm eating.
All right, in Space Watch, we are just hours away from a historic launch at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. So here's what's going to happen. The Falcon X, or rather the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket is set to send NASA astronauts into orbit. And this is the first time that this has happened with a
Where is that channel? The fuck is that?
And those are the stairs Lauren mentioned. They're at the it's the 255-foot level right now.
Yes.
I think I said that right. And now they're headed up the stairs to the 265-foot level. That's a level that will take them to where the crew access arm is in the white room.
Yeah, that's the view right there that they're looking at. And Lauren, what are those chevrons, those white chevrons on the floor? What do they lead to?
Those are basically highlighting the exit path. So in the event that that anyone up there needed to get away ASAP, they follow those arrows to where escape baskets await them. There's 7 baskets, and they'll hop in there, and it's kind of like a zip line. They'll slide all the way down from that fixed service structure down to the ground, safe and away from the rocket.
Great.
And at the top right of your screen where you see them, there's actually a phone right up there next to the worm. There's the worm again, Leland. But there's
I'm okay
a phone.
with that. I'm okay with that now.
Okay.
It really pops up there.
Yeah, it's like it belongs there or something.
It's funny, isn't it? Leland, tell us about the phone. What's the significance of the phone up there?
Yeah, I mean, you can call family members that you maybe weren't able to come to the launch, and in this case, there are quite a few of them. But you know, it's a last minute to say goodbye and say that you're going to talk to them when you get to space.
Absolutely. And again, they're just kind of taking in the sights before they go into the white room, and the pad team is there. You can see them. They're in black with the white numbers on their back. They're all members of the pad team. They're going to be helping them when they get into ingress. Actually, we're at T minus 2 hours and 50 minutes right now, at about T minus 2 hours and 35 minutes. So just under 15 minutes from now is when the astronauts will ingress. That's the term we use for climbing into Dragon. And of course, they will have the assistance of the suit techs and get buckled in. And so we want to head over to Hawthorne now for a preview of what's in store for not just Bob and Doug, but future space travelers.
Shortly after we begin to regularly fly NASA astronauts to and from the space station, SpaceX will also begin flying private passengers to station and beyond using Dragon.
That's right. NASA is going to be enabling up to 2 private astronaut missions to visit the space station each year, just as part of our support of a broader economy in low Earth orbit. It's just one of the many ways NASA's opening access for companies to manufacture products in microgravity, for new commercial modules in space, and to enable more people to be able to explore the stars firsthand.
And the more people out there exploring the stars, the closer we get to becoming a multi-planetary species. Earlier, we showed you a first-hand look at where you would train if you were to fly with us on board Dragon, but now, let's take a peek inside of the spacecraft itself.
When we wanted to take Dragon and make it human-rated, I think we took a different approach to spaceship design than has previously been done, because we wanted this to feel like a 21st century spaceship. We wanted it to inspire another generation of astronauts. Really, everything when you look at Dragon was driven by function. We took into account everything from the placement of all the cargo supplies to the light rail on the top, doubled as a handhold. Probably one of the biggest features of Dragon are the touch screens on the inside. We designed them not just to be very functional, but with a user experience in mind. It's very intuitive to know what we need to do at any given moment in time. When I think about comfort for the astronauts, it's really every aspect of how you could interact with the spaceship that comes to mind. We have 3 different seat sizes. We even go so far as molding the foam around the astronaut's body so that there's not any pressure points, and it's just generally a pleasurable journey to space. Dragon is a spaceship that's all about safety and reliability. We designed it to be 2-fault tolerant, which means that any 2 things could fail. So I could lose a flight computer and a thruster, and I could still bring the crew back home safely. We also added a launch escape system. If anything goes wrong on ascent, the crew can get away from Falcon and get picked up safely. I've worked on Dragon since 2012. When I see Dragon lift off, I think I'm going to feel a buildup of emotion of 8 years of working with some of the best engineers and technicians across the country that put their heart and mind into making this incredible moment happen for everybody.
Ingress has started on schedule.
We see them signing. Looks like they're signing something in there right now.
Yeah, we give them a black Sharpie to sign the white room. It's starting a new tradition.
Yeah, we didn't do that. That's nice.
That's awesome.
It's a good tradition.
Yeah.
And while we were in the video, we saw Bob and Doug walk down the crew access arm. Leland, it's like that, futuristic look that you talked about. I mean, what did you think seeing that and how that kind of compare and contrast what that was like during shuttle?
It's really beautiful, I think. I mean, back when I was flying on shuttle, everything look at the thumbs up from Bob. He's getting excited. There's a few little photos at the end there. But it's just a totally different era. I mean, the SpaceX team is really looking to make something futuristic. It's looking like something from the George Jetsons or from other movies that you've seen on television and at the movies. And I think it's something that inspires our country and inspires our children especially to see that they want to be these astronauts. They want to study hard and be that next generation of explorers launching from Cape Canaveral in a SpaceX rocket, or working for NASA, or working for SpaceX, or any of the other companies that are trying to get off planet. And I think that this change in the way that we're doing business is going to be a really great way of getting more people to the table to fly in space.
Yeah, that was really important to us. Dragon, we see it as a 21st century spaceship. It needs to look like a 21st century spaceship. It flies like a 21st century spaceship. So of course, the ground support equipment should look like it's from the same era. The suits do. All of that sort of future-facing technology and aesthetic is super important to us. Actually, right now, you can see that duct in the hands of member number 5 there. That is an ECS duct, or environmental control system duct. Once this original, who just went in? Was that Doug or Bob?
I think that was Doug.
Okay, Doug
That was
just climbed
Doug,
in.
yeah.
That is awesome.
He's ahead of schedule. Somebody tell him to climb back
They
out.
are booking. It is great.
He's ready. He's like Leland. We were joking earlier about it. We were going to have to buckle Leland into his seat here to keep him from running out there.
Yeah, if we had stayed outside, I was going to swim across the moat and run over and get in the vehicle with Bob and Doug.
All right,
But
now Bob's going in.
yeah.
This is great. So the suit technicians are helping the crew climb inside. They're holding back the hatch seals to protect the seals on the hatch, but also making sure that the crew doesn't hit their head or anything on the way in. Even though they have helmets, we still don't want that to happen.
And they climbed in a couple minutes earlier than we expected them to, but Lauren, that SpaceX has rehearsed this over and over and over again with Bob and Doug, and sometimes, and I've heard them say, well, we might be a little bit ahead of schedule if we're ready. It just gives them more time to check things out.
Yeah. So right now, what the crew, the suit technicians are doing is They're strapping the crew's feet into these restraints that the boots sit inside of. They're then going to close those 5-point harnesses around them. I know, Leland, you talked about some of the harnessing that you had in the past with the shuttle.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a more sleek design where there's one point to plug in to get cooling, communications, and everything. And we had a 5-point harness. We, had these hoses and things all over the place. But I think this is a much more streamlined look into the future of space travel.
And similar to what was going in the ONC building during the suit checkouts, that seat umbilical is going to connect to the right thigh of the spacesuit. There is a fluid module that is connected to the spacesuit, and that provides fresh cooling air and also nitrox for the leak checks that are going to come up later. But the audio system is also going through that umbilical.
Mm-hmm.
So while the crew is, or while the suit techs are getting the crew all buckled in, they're going to perform a comm check. And that's, again, similar to what was done at the ONC building, but this time the integrated two-way communications between the astronauts and the ground crew.
And we're going to head back to Hawthorne now, as we just saw Bob and Doug ingress Crew Dragon. Dan?
Hey, thanks. Yeah, it's incredible to see them inside the capsule. If you're just now tuning in, great timing. You're watching our coverage of the mission known as Demonstration Mission 2 or Demo 2. Today, SpaceX and NASA are going to be sending people into orbit on a mission to the International Space Station for the first time from U.S. soil since 2011. Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley are those astronauts flying in Dragon. They're inside. That's Doug Hurley really close to our screen and Bob Behnken on the further seat away from us.
And they are getting ready to lift off from pad 39A, where Falcon 9 will lift off around or at 4:33 p.m. Eastern Time. They already ascended the tall structure next to the rocket, which is called the fixed service structure, and walked down the corridor known as the crew arm. And now they're already boarded inside of Dragon.
Yeah, right before they got in, we did see them pause for a moment and actually sign the wall. They were in the White Room. And the White Room is just literally that room at the end of the crew arm that has an opening into Dragon. It's the last place on planet Earth where Bob and Doug are standing before they get into Dragon for their ride to the space station.
And the term the White Room was first used during NASA Gemini missions, where the room right before entering into the spaceship was painted white. So we've continued the tradition with painting ours white as well, and also started a new tradition. If you just saw, they did sign the White Room wall, which is really, really awesome. It's a fairly small area that has room for the crew and a few ground support members to complete cargo load at T-minus 24 hours and crew ingress at T-minus 2 hours and 35 minutes. And ingress is how we refer to the crew boarding Dragon.
And inside the White Room, there's also a movable platform that just gets extended out to the capsule just in order to bridge that gap between the crew arm and the Dragon side hatch, just allowing easy entry into Dragon. And as you might expect, the entire area is environmentally controlled just so the Dragon side hatch can be kept open while we're keeping all of that dust, dirt, Florida humidity out of the capsule, making sure it's pristine for the crew. There's also a big seal that's inflated and compressed against the capsule right now just to help maintain that clean environment.
The White Room also has lots of tools in order to open the side hatch, complete crew ingress as they're doing right now, and prepare for any contingency or emergency that may be encountered.
And so as we just heard from Lauren and Marie and the team, they're getting into this capsule now. They're getting their seats connected to their suits via that umbilical. That's going to give them hardline connections into audio for their comm checks, which are going to be coming up shortly. And again, breathing gas and pressurized nitrox for those suit leak checks. So this will be the second time since getting suited up that they've done these leak checks. We're just kind of all about redundancy and constantly checking our systems as we continue to count down. But I mean, there they are. Right now, we're watching Bob and Doug getting into Dragon, getting strapped in. Before they connected their suits to the actual seats, they did something called a foreign object debris check, or a FOD check. And that just means that they actually get inspected for any substance or debris on their suit that could interfere with those systems on Dragon.
And to help protect against debris, the crew has covers on their boots as well as their umbilical port on their suits that need to be removed before they can ingress. So they've already removed those, and as you can see, they are getting strapped in. And once the FOD check is complete, our commander, Doug Hurley, entered first, and then Bob Benkin followed after him. And they're getting buckled in right now, as you can see on your screen, and attaching their umbilicals to their suits. The umbilicals allow the crew to have comms through their suit and air to help keep them cool, as well as delivers nitrox for suit pressurization. And as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the suit's primary function is to protect the crew in the event of a cabin depressurization.
And just walking through the interior a little bit, there are 4 seats configured inside Dragon right now. They're numbered 1 to 4 from right to left when you're looking at the seats. So we've had a couple of camera views just from the hatchway, so in the white room. If you're looking at that angle, you go from 1 to 4 right to left. Doug Hurley is in seat 2, or the commander seat. Bob Benkin is in seat 3, which is on Crew Dragon is the pilot seat. And then obviously nobody is in seats 1 and 4 today. Crew Dragon is designed to carry 4 astronauts on these future NASA missions, and we met 2 of the Crew 1 members and heard about their other 2 crew members a little bit earlier. Directly in front of both of our crew members today are 3 touchscreen displays that they're going to use throughout the flight, giving them insight into Dragon's systems, seeing any alerts or issues with the vehicle, and if required, taking control and manually flying Dragon. We can see Doug Hurley manipulating those displays right now.
And coming up, the crew will do a comm check to make sure that they can hear mission control, and their seats will be rotated into position for launch so that they can see those display panels right in front of them. So now let's check in with John Insprucker for the latest on the health of both vehicles. Over to you, John.
We're at T-minus 2 hours, 36 minutes, 30 seconds in the countdown for the launch of Falcon 9 with Dragon to the space station. The Dragon Launch Ops team has completed their major activities to prepare the spacecraft for the astronauts. Checkouts are complete of major systems, including the escape system. And as you can see, ingress of the astronauts well underway. They're hooking their suits up to the various cabin systems. Right now on Dragon, there are no issues in work. Comm checks will be coming up shortly on the Dragon spacecraft with the crew. We might be able to hear some of that, and we'll bring it to you as it happens. Now, currently, the Falcon 9 team is preparing for their final checkouts and propellant load. Checkouts are due to begin at T-minus 2 hours. That's when the majority of the launch crew will actually get on console officially in Fire Room 4 at Kennedy Space Center. Currently on Falcon 9, all systems are go. The Air Force range continues to report no problems with air and sea space clearance. Everything's looking good. Roadblocks are up around the launch pads. The weather forecast continues to be acceptable, but something we're going to watch all the way through. We're not only looking at weather at the launch site, but we are looking around the world. We need to make sure conditions are acceptable if Dragon has to splash down in the Atlantic in case of an escape. We're also monitoring contingency splashdown locations if the crew had to come back to Earth before docking with the space station. Right now, those conditions are getting better as we go through the day. At the launch pad, things continue to be a 60% probability of violating the conditions, or 40% chance, if you're an optimist, of good weather. But right now, the clock is continuing to count down. All systems are go. We're just inside T-minus 2 hours, 35 minutes.
All right, now as Bob and Doug finish their ingress procedures and get comfortable inside Dragon, we're going to continue to listen for those comm checks. They should be coming up in just a little bit. But right now, I'm joined now by SpaceX's Jessica Jensen and Lars Blackmore just to discuss a little bit more about what make Dragon and Falcon 9 a 21st century launch vehicle. So first off, thank you so much for joining me today. Jessica, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Walk me through kind of Dragon's life history and how we got to where we are today.
Sure. So Dragon was designed from scratch 12 years ago by SpaceX. It was designed to carry cargo to and from the International Space Station. And what that means is 12 years ago wasn't that long ago. So we got to use state-of-the-art materials, state-of-the-art, computer processors. So really, Dragon, to start off with, is already a modern advanced spacecraft. But then there's 2 other parts of it also that really led to commercial crew. One part of it was that we actually were able to man-rate cargo Dragon while it's in the vicinity of the space station and attached to the space station. So that was a huge learning curve for crew. We human rated a spacecraft for a portion of the mission, and then for crew you just have to obviously expand it for the whole mission. And then the last part was Cargo Dragon has been this amazing test bed for commercial crew. And what that means is we were able to test out like heat shield materials and parachute materials on Cargo Dragon before they ever flew on Crew Dragon.
Very cool. And that's just one part of the equation. Lars, walk us through, again, just the flight history of Falcon 9 from the humble beginnings to where we are today.
Well, Falcon 9 first flew almost 10 years ago today. And even though the first version of that rocket couldn't carry humans, the fundamental design was made with that goal in mind. Over the course of 87 launches, we've steadily improved the rocket so that now it has twice the payload to orbit that we started out with. We can land and reuse the first stage in the fairing, and most importantly for today, we have the reliability that we need for humans. Now, what's interesting is that that reliability has come from steady upgrades and almost a decade of flight experience, but it's actually quite hard to prove reliability. This is something that the commercial airline industry has been grappling with for decades. And just like them, we rely on lots and lots of testing. So, for instance, if you take the Merlin 1D engine, that has to fly for about 6 minutes continuously to get to orbit. We took one of those and ran it for more than 250 minutes to get the statistical proof of reliability that we need. So it's that testing and lots of analysis that gives us and NASA the confidence that Falcon is ready to fly humans for the first time.
And obviously a lot of additional upgrades, a lot of additional testing had to go just to make sure that both of these vehicles were human rated. So walk us through some of the specific upgrades to Dragon to meet that criteria.
Yep. So the first one's pretty obvious. We had a Cargo Dragon. It has lots of cargo cubbies, so we took all of those out, replaced it with astronaut seats, crew displays, and crew controls. But one thing that people may not know is on Cargo Dragon, we've actually been flying mice to and from the International Space Station for years. And what that meant was we had to design an environmental control and life support system for Dragon years ago. It provides oxygen, it scrubs carbon dioxide, and among other things, it controls temperature and relative humidity. So even though that was done on a smaller scale for mice, it was a great learning curve on how to help man-rate a spacecraft when you have to do it for humans.
And then, Lars, same question. What kind of specific upgrades had to go into it to certify Falcon 9 for this day?
Well, I already mentioned the reliability upgrades. One upgrade that I think is particularly interesting is the launch abort trigger. So people probably know that Dragon has the ability in mid-flight to separate from Falcon and boost the astronauts away to safety in the case that there's some kind of emergency. And that could be triggered by the astronauts or by the ground crew. What people may not know is that Falcon itself has the ability to cause that trigger. And it will do that entirely autonomously using algorithms, software, and sensors. And that's particularly important in the case of a time-critical fault where aborting quickly means aborting safely. And in some cases, Falcon can do this quicker than 0.3 of a second, so much faster than a human.
And Lars, I'm going to pause right there for a sec. We're getting some comm from the crew. And so coming up shortly, we're going to hear these communication checks. Bob and Doug are going to be talking to several positions down on the ground, and they're going to be using both communication speakers inside of Dragon and inside their suits in a series of communications checks. They're also going to be doing these checks over different satellites and ground stations.
CDR, BLT, comm check, umbilical.
Different satellites and ground stations.
BLT, comm check, umbilical.
CDR, loud and clear. TLT, loud and clear.
Core, loud and clear.